spent most of this week looking at the book of Job, but now I want us to look at the Apostle Paul. In our text today in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, he also went through some hard times. 2 Corinthians 1, beginning with verse 8. We think you ought to know, dear brothers and sisters, about the trouble we went through in the province of Asia. We were crushed and overwhelmed beyond our ability to endure, and we thought we would never live through it. In fact, we expected to die. But as a result, we stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on God who raises the dead. And he did rescue us from the mortal danger, and he will rescue us again. We have placed our confidence in him, and he will continue to rescue us. Beloved, all of us go through some hard times. And at times, those hard times seem beyond our ability to endure. I mean, sometimes you just go, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to fight with this anymore. It seems beyond our ability to endure. But in those times and when it seems that it's beyond our ability to endure, we learn an incredible lesson. We learn to rely on God and not to rely upon ourselves. We learn that we're not as smart as we thought we were. We're not as wise as we thought we were. We're not as strong as we thought we were. And we again make a decision. As the Old Testament puts it, we don't rely upon the arm of flesh. We don't lean on the arm of flesh. We lean on Jesus. There was an old Negro spiritual that used to be sung when I was a boy, leaning. And I remember as a baby Christian loving to sing that in some of the churches that I was attending. But it's a beautiful, beautiful song. Every one of us at times in our life, when you go past your ability, quit relying upon yourself. Learn the lesson. Just say, all right, this is a great time for me to learn not to rely upon myself. This is a great time for me to not lean on the arm of flesh, but to lean on Jesus. Oh, just leaning on Jesus. Just relying upon him. And when you've learned that lesson, then look at verse 10. We've placed our confidence in him, and he will continue to rescue us. When you've learned to not rely upon yourself, and you've learned to rely upon him, you put your full confidence in him. Do you remember life before lockdown? Do you remember life before COVID? Do you remember all the things that we were in the middle of doing? Well, we're starting to get all of those started back up little by little. Next year, we'll be starting into the provincial crusades again. Our Go groups are reopening again. And we're starting back on the Remain Project. Just before lockdowns hit, we announced that we were staying right here on Taft Avenue. This is our ancestral home. We're very happy here, but we need to do some work because, there's new roofs that need to go on buildings. We've got to come in and renovate the interior. We need some more office space and kids' church space. So we presented to you the Remain program, and we actually had the bidding already done for the foundations. And during lockdowns, we put in 23 or 24 million pesos worth of piles out on Taft Avenue for Bay 7 Tower. All that's done, all that's paid for. Now, in that same time, many of you were faithful to your pledges, and even it was the middle of lockdown, we never mentioned it to you. We never talked about money at all during this lockdown season. But many of you were still faithful, and we've kept all that money's set aside. All that money's been set aside as designated money, and we're ready to start on Tower 7. Now, this weekend, I shared with you last weekend that we're going to do the pledges to get things finished. We're going to be renovating the main auditorium. We're going to be putting up Tower 7. We're going to be renovating the kids' tower. We're going to be putting another floor on top of Serenity. We've got a lot of things to do here on Taft Avenue, as well as we're going to build a 5-story educational tower and offices and a parsonage down at South Campus, and we're going to renovate South Campus Auditorium, put in a balcony, and really dress up the inside and outside and make it beautiful. So we've got a lot of things to work on. I shared with you last weekend, we're going to be doing the pledges, and I'm asking you this weekend, as a family, come ready to say, this is what we want to do to help. We want to build the house of God. We want to renovate the house of God. So as a family, you talk about it. What are we going to do as a family for the next few years on a weekly or on a monthly basis? And I ask you, bring a great offering this weekend. God has been good to us all during this lockdown season. Sit down with your family and talk about what seed does our family want to sow as we start back up this project. We'll see you this weekend.